let's talk about surfing because the surfing finals finally happened. And it was good. It was really fun. Um, at least for the women, it was really fun. So talk about the women. In the semifinals, Tiana Weston Webb, she had a really, really good semifinal. She scored a 13.66. And so the way it works is they take. I found this out basically watching at these Olympic Games. I've never watched surfing before until these Olympics. Essentially, the way the scoring works is they give you 30 minutes to catch as many waves as you want, but there is a priority system. So if one surfer has priority over the other, then the other one can't really go. And so there's a priority system. So if the first surfer gets two really good waves right away, it makes it really hard for the second surfer, because as soon as the second surfer messes up a second time, then the first surfer has priority. And so the surfer with priority has to really take their time to find a good wave. The surfer who's in second place really needs to watch out and not mess up to not give the surfer in the lead priority. It's weird how it is. And I kind of don't like it almost. But let's talk about it. So for the women, Tiana Weston Webb out of Brazil, 13.66, really, really well. They take your two best waves. And they scored these out of 10. And your two best waves is what counts. So Weston Webb, 13.66 is her total score. And then it was Team USA, Caroline Marks, with a 12.17. She actually tied France's Johanne Defay. But Marks, I guess, had the tiebreaker somehow. I was kind of confused how the tiebreaker happened, to be honest. They went to the finals, and it was intense. So Defay took the bronze over the Netherlands' Hennessy. So it was Caroline Marks against Tiana Weston Webb. Really, really good. Excuse me, not Tiana. Tatiana. Tatiana Weston Webb got out in front early with a nice wave, but then Caroline Marks scored a 7.5. So that put her with a total score of 10.5. She had a 7.5, and then she had a 3. And so that amounted to a 10.5. Those are her two best waves. Weston Webb had priority, though, despite being in second place. And so Weston Webb just kind of waited. She waited till the very end. She had a 4.5 and a 3.5. So Weston Webb is at about 8, whereas Marks was at 10.5. So with about 2 minutes left, Weston Webb hops on the board and does what I thought was enough to get her the win. I thought that was a 6+ wave. I thought she should have deserved at least a 6. She was on there for like a solid 25 seconds. She was doing twists and turns. The problem is she fell. And when you fall, it makes it really hard to get a score anywhere higher than a 5, no matter how good of a wave that you caught. So unfortunately, Weston Webb went down with the fall. She gets a total score of 10.33. Marks wins it by 0.17. It was exciting. It was intense. It came down to the wire. I loved it. For the men, not so much. The men's finals were pretty unexhilarating. It was France's Cowley Vaast, who is from Tahiti, so he has a pretty big advantage against Australia's Jack Robinson. The problem was Vaast got off to such a big lead. He scored a 7 and an 8 right away. No, excuse me. He scored an 8 and a 9 right away. He had a total score of 17.76 within the first 5 minutes. Robinson scored a 7.83 on his first wave, which is a good score, right? 7.83 is really good, especially for these waves, because the best I've seen a few 8s and a few 9s. Most of these surfers, 7 is like really good. 7's winning you most of these matches. But for some reason, Jack Robinson just sat there. He sat there for 25 minutes, didn't catch another wave. And so I think it all boiled down to the priority thing, because essentially I think what was going on was Robinson was so far back that even if he took that second wave, he would have needed a really good score. He would have needed a 9.9 on his second wave to get ahead of Cowley Vaast, which is very unlikely, and you need a really good wave to score 9.9, because part of it is about how good of a surfer you are, part of it is about wave selection, and part of it is just about how good the wave was. So Robinson would have needed a 9.9. If Robinson caught a second wave and didn't score a 9.9, he would have been behind, obviously. Then Vaust could have just sat there with priority the whole time, and when you have priority, you can just fake it and pretend like you're going for a wave even if you're not. And the other surfer basically can't go. So it's like you can kind of paddle in front of him. And so essentially Robinson was waiting for the perfect wave, and the perfect wave never came. I wish he would have given it a shot towards the end and just tried. But unfortunately for Robinson, yeah, the perfect wave just never came for him. So he ends up only taking one wave. So he lost by 10 points, 17.67 to 7.83. That was after Robinson took down the gold medal favorite, Gabriel Medina. Gabriel Medina out of Brazil is a 3-time world champion. He finishes with the bronze medal. Medina lost in the semis to Jack Robinson. The semis were way more exciting than the finals for the men. At least the semi with Vaast. Vaast defeating Peruvian surfer Alonso Correa. Vaust against Correa was a really good matchup. Vaust winning 10.96 to 9.60. The other semifinal, Jack Robinson did to Medina what Vaast did to him. So it was a little bit of a taste of his own medicine, because Robinson against Medina only caught the one wave. So the reigning gold medalist, Gabriel Medina, only with the one wave. Robinson beat him 12.33 to 6.33, but then in the finals, Robinson taking silver. So Australia with silver, Brazil bronze, and it was France, the homeland, Cowley Vaast, representing France, but he's from Tahiti, and of course, it would make sense. The guy who knows the waves better than anybody else, the local guy, takes home the gold. So it was fun. The women's was more fun than the men's. I wish they could maybe change some rules or just make it a little better for TV, because I think if they made it better for TV, maybe shorten, instead of 30-minute rounds, make it a 10-minute round, and somehow fix the priority system so that, like, I don't know. I feel like there's too much waiting around, and there's too much of an opportunity for someone to get out to a really early lead and then just never let the opponent have a chance, and so it gets really boring. Like, I sat there for 20 minutes expecting Robinson to catch another wave. I wasn't I will admit I wasn't entirely a pro on the rules, but yeah, I feel like it could have been better. I feel like if they can make some changes, make it a little bit better for TV, because if they actually made this entertaining, I think a lot of people would want to watch it. It is, when they do catch waves, it's really fun. It's really exciting. And like I said, when it came down to the wire, and I thought Weston Webb had it, and it was great. You know, it was suspenseful. With 2 minutes left, she caught a really good wave, and I thought I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential here. Also, that might just be because I like surfing and I am a surfer, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But I do think it was exciting. I think it can be better.